Hey, can you guys hear me? You know me, guys. I don't talk like this. So I'll sit here. Hey, good morning, Mark.
Hey, Petey. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm trying to make sense of the timeline for Jets Twitter, and that's probably where it went wrong in the first place.
Well,
Um, well, I'm seeing Jackson Dart at 7 float around, and I can't tell. I don't watch enough college, Pete, so I can't tell if it's legit and keep your eyes on this prospect, or if it's February and like content creators need to post so they can get paid. Like I can't tell if it's legit or not. Um, I mean the Jets. Where I get frustrated, man, I'll tell it to you. Like I get frustrated because I'd like to evaluate the roster and say, okay, well, who do they keep in? Who's going? Like all that good stuff. Like what players will fit the scheme? What players from Denver and Detroit will fit the scheme? I'd love to have that conversation from folks that are in the know. But I don't know. It still feels to me like people are uh and how can I put this delicately? Um, they're still hurting from the last season, and so they're looking at players and saying, "Well, let's just get everyone out." And it's like, well, I understand what you want to do, but what do you think that Glenn and Muji are going to do? And I'm way more interested in that than people being
Mark,
upset with the player.
Mark, here's my thing. Okay, and I understand Rogers is gone. Good morning, Neil.
Yeah,
But you fans were here talking about Rex Ryan coming back. Reuniting with Sam Darnold. Like,
right.
and I'm not laughing about it, but listen, I don't shut people's opinions down. Like, if people wanted Rodgers back, I wanted him to stay, but it
Right.
didn't work out. And Dom convinced me with the cap because he told me that there was something in the, because I was just looking at it from if the Jets paid him, they could still get out of his contract. Yes, they would save money, but the cap number didn't go down. And I didn't notice that. I'll be honest, I didn't. I didn't realize it. And then finally, once I knew that, Mark, they had to let him go. You can't,
Mhm.
65 million or 3 million is a lot of money. It's a lot. So, but listen, if you want Rodgers back, Aaron Rodgers is going to be talked about for the next, he's an icon. People are going to remember him. People still remember Favre. So this whole nonsense, not nonsense, whatever it's called, of whatever, man. I don't know. Neil, go
Well,
ahead, man.
oh, good. Yeah, good morning.
No, hey, Mark, I was just gonna say on the Jackson Dart thing. I'm in the process of doing my own little evaluations and draft board, and I have Jackson Dart as like the 40th best player in this draft, and you know I think he's more of a round two guy, but the supply and demand of quarterbacks always wins, right? And when you're looking down the barrel of a teams like the Titans, the Browns, the Giants, the Raiders, the Jets, the Saints, all drafted in the top 10 and needing a quarterback, the hype train on Jackson Dart, I think, is going to get full steam ahead. I mean, he's going to be a engaging interview. The things I like about him is he's mobile. I think he's had roughly around 500 yards rushing uh, the last 2 years at Mississippi in the SEC. He really pushes the ball downfield. My comp for him is he reminds me a little bit of Baker Mayfield. That's kind of what I watch him play. That's kind of what I see a little bit of Baker. But for you, as a Jets fan, seven's probably too rich. But teams fall in love with these prospects during the process, and there's some teams that are rumored to have him even above Shador as their number two. So when it's all said and done, it wouldn't surprise me in the least bit if Jackson Dart was a top 10 pick. Um, and that maybe he's not a top 10 player in the draft, but again, the supply and demand on the quarterback position, there's always demand.
Yeah, what does it kind of remind you, Neil, of the whole whatchamacallit, like I'm not Bo Nix thing. I know Nix was supposed to go high, but
Yeah, look, environment matters, coaching matters, all that matters. Like, I will say, and, to the chagrin of many Dolphins fans, I think the Dolphins, because of availability, are a quarterback needy team. But the free agent market to me, and altogether now with T. Higgins officially look like he's going to be tagged today, the free agent market is awful. There's not many free agents that I would want to pay top dollar to, and the quarterback position, is not much better. The 2026 quarterback draft class is the one that I like a lot more than this year, and I like that, even thinking that Arch Manning is going to stay in Texas to 2027. Like my favorite quarterback prospect next year is going to be Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. I still like Drew Aller, despite him not playing great against Notre Dame. There's Lenora Snellers. There's guys like Taylor Green. There's Sam Levitt from Arizona State. There's a lot of quarterbacks in next year's draft class, and what I've kind of learned over the last decade of following the draft, decade or 2 decades, to be honest, is it's better to be patient in a lot of these scenarios when you're searching for your quarterback. The draft that stands out to me the most that a lot of people remember. Do you guys remember the Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder, Jake Locker draft class?
ugh.
That
Yeah,
was
Neil, 1 second, Mark. I can't bring anybody up. I can't even mute Mark. I gotta force close. I'll be
All right.
right back.
But yeah, so it's like one of those things that I think that like it might not be popular, but like the Kirk Cousins Tyrod Taylor combo might be the Jets' best combination to get a good evaluation of the team, win some games, but still keep yourself in position to strike in the top 10 of next year. That's kind of how I would look at it. And, I've heard the 3 and 4 win games or 8 games, just let it happen. Like, it probably will fall somewhere in the middle. It is not a rebuild, but it does seem like a reset to me. And let Aaron Glenn kind of reset the roster if he needs a year to stabilize it, and the Jets win 6 games, so be it. Like like 2025 wouldn't matter much to me as a Jets fan. The thing I'd be searching is Aaron Glenn the right guy? Like the way he's running the teams, the decisions he's making. Are we seeing young players on the defensive side of the ball improve? Are you seeing a competent offense? Do you have the structure that the organization needs where there's good harmony between the general manager and the coach? Those are the things that I would be looking at in my checklist more so than the win loss, because if you get those right in future years, you're going to have the stability that it takes to win consistently. And I think that's what matters most, is being able to win year in, year out. You know, Even if you fall short the AFC Championship, next year you have another shot. And that's where, like I see Leashon in here. Leashon knows the Bills have a shot next year. Like I'm a Dolphins fan. I know the Dolphins don't have a shot next year already. Like it's it's mid-February, and that's the reality. So getting that right coach, getting the right quarterback, those are the key ingredients. And I think what too many teams do is get desperate and they reach for a quarterback who's honestly just is overdrafted in a sense. And when you do that, and it fails, you set your organization back 3 to 5 years every time.
Well, Neil, to that point, I think there's two other problems in that scenario, which is, let's say it's a back. First problem is drafting that quarterback into a depleted roster. This is where I have a big problem with the folks that want to tear the whole thing down as opposed to retool the roster, because I don't want to bring a quarterback into a lousy situation like that. And then the second part is uh, not having a veteran quarterback and having the latitude to sit, even a high drafted quarterback, sit them for at least some time so that they can get used to prep and get like. Uh, I would hope that folks under like I've come to see. Listen, man, the Stroud, year one, Jaden Daniels, year one. Like, this is the outlier. It's not, Bo Nix with this is not, we're not seeing like, oh, guys, this is just how it is with these first year quarterbacks. Like, I still see it as, man, like they really set the situation up nice and then they started to win, and that's an outlier rather than the norm. I would rather these young guys have a chance to sit.
I
I'm with
agree.
you, man.
Mark,
Environment
look up.
matters. Environment
Wait,
matters.
Neil, one sec. Tyrod Taylor is 45, 48, and 1 in his career, just so Jeff fans know. I don't know if people knew that, but it's not awful. I would sign up for 3 games under 500 in the last 10 years compared to what we've been
I
through.
think that's
Shit.
I think that's a better record than Jameis, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just saying.
I would rather have Tyrod Taylor over
Me
Jameis.
too, as a backup. Well, for me,
The Mark. So I'm cool with Taylor going, but everybody's going to say he's not going to make the whole season. How do most people didn't think Rodgers would make it through the year, and he did at 41, 40. So,
Petey, if they go
I
into the
mean,
year with Tyrod Taylor as the starter, I think what you end up with is Tyrod Taylor getting hurt at some point. Because again, they got 4 out of 5 positions on the line sorted, let's say, right? They need a right tackle, but the depth is questionable. And that means that you're one injury away from having a
correct.
guy who wouldn't start on another football team protecting the quarterback. And
Well,
now
that's
what you
if they don't
do,
sign. Go ahead.
well, I'm
Sorry.
just saying, no, I'm following the tea leaves on it. Because like then what happens
Well, Mark, they're
next?
definitely going to bring in a veteran, though. Mark, they have to bring in a veteran. They have to.
I know.
That's a
why
must.
can't you
I'm
do
just
both,
using.
PD?
I'm just taking the example of what happens if they roll with Tyrod. Because listen, if you're really set on winning 3 to 4 games, and you really are doing it that way, why bring in a quarterback? Like at that point, look, we don't
Because
really
Mark,
care
they're
about
not set.
Tyrod.
Because Mark, they're not set on. I'm sorry, Mark. Now I'm getting riled up again, and it's early. They're not set on 3 to 4 wins. I'm sorry, they're not.
Well,
And fans can think the way they think, and I'm not going to, call people names about it. I just don't agree with it,
well,
and that's my. I'm entitled to that as a fan.
Hey,
you
I
are.
can fan
hey,
how the way I
hey,
want, and there's no way that we're winning 3 games next
hey,
year.
PD Mark,
Sorry, and if I'm wrong, bring up the recording. Who gives a shit?
PD Mark. What if AG and then what if they do get Tyrod, and what if they get a quarterback too to be under him? And what if they let him, like, they don't do him like Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and that? But what if he come in like halfway through the season and y'all was already
I'll give
winning and
you.
shit? What
Well,
if
let me.
that?
So
What if?
that
Okay.
means the season's going
But
bad,
what if it's?
T,
But
and
what
then
if it's not going bad, PD? I'm not doing
then
negative
why would
shit
you take?
today.
All right,
I'm not
but
doing negative
but
shit.
right, but
What if you
all
get
right, but
Tyrod as the vet to help the young boy, whoever he is? I was gonna ask
because
Neil,
I
is
don't
Will
think they're going to
Howard
start
coming
a
out?
rookie. I think he
Yeah,
is Buckeye.
he's
Is he
out. Yeah,
coming
he's
out?
coming out. He'll be in the late second, early third, probably.
So like, what if you like take care of the line, take care of your trenches, first round, you go get Will, and then you have Tyrod. What's wrong with that?
See, I think that sets you back though, because it's hard to go find legitimate starters on day two. I know the Kyle McCord types. We've heard a lot about Quinn Ewers and those guys. Like, if you're going to go to the quarterback position and you really are going to go, I'd rather invest the first round pick either this year or next year, even if the talent doesn't mirror the draft position. I think it's so hard to find lightning in a bottle in round two, and it can be done. I don't think this is the class to do it. If I had to bet, and I say fast forward to week one, it's September, I think the starting quarterback of the New York Jets is going to be Justin Fields. I think it makes sense for what Aaron Glenn wants. I think it makes sense because Justin Fields has a clear path to start there, and I think there's enough catch up in the tube to see if you can squeeze anything out of it there with him. I think it's going to be Justin Fields as the starter, Tyrod Taylor as the backup, and Jordan Travis is quarterback 3, who's your developmental guy. And if that does not work this year, 2026, in a strong quarterback group, the Jets will be in play.
I actually
Oh,
Hey,
like
Neil,
that.
can you
I could
answer
I
live.
one thing,
like
Neil?
that, Neil. That
Neil,
Yeah.
can you answer one
Yeah,
thing?
what's up, Buckeye?
If you had to stack odds against, and again, Fields with the right coaching, right system. I'm not saying the Jets are that, or McCord, who you haven't seen yet. So this is an unfair question. Who do you think has the higher trajectory out of those
I
two?
just think Fields does. When you look at the modern day quarterback, we see
Bingo.
them making plays with their legs. And I like Mark was just touched on this, and I think this is one of the things that as fans, and I'm not saying anyone here, just in general, a lot of us forget. Environment matters so much to these quarterbacks. What they walk into, what the offensive line looks like, who's calling the plays, who's catching the passes. Do you have a running game that can take pressure off of that quarterback? So many things matter. And, a lot of times the bad organizations get these quarterbacks and just throw them into the fire, to Mark's point, in a less than ideal situation. And when they try to win on their God-given talent alone and play, they tend to play type of hero ball, it never pans out, right? I say this all the time. Everyone knows the story back in 2018 when Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross told them that he wanted Lamar Jackson and we drafted Minka Fitzpatrick. And we see Lamar Jackson now and oh, the Dolphins are idiots. Miami Dolphins did not have the coach and infrastructure to put in place to make Lamar Jackson who he is today. Lamar Jackson in Miami would not be the player that he is in Baltimore today. That is just a fact. The Ravens are night and day a better organization that created an entire structure of their team, the power running game to support Lamar Jackson's strengths, right? The Miami Dolphins can't even convert on a 3rd and 4th and 1 to get 1 yard in a rushing game. So it's you environment matters so much for these guys, and that's where it's
So Neil, my question to you is: do you think the Steelers is a better environment for Justin than the Jets? Since you just laid out
no,
what that shit was for
but
Lamar and Miami and Baltimore,
no, but
If they
I
play him,
think, yeah, I think they pulled
we
the
did.
plug on him when he was playing good ball, I I think
boom.
in the playoffs, if they would have went with Justin Fields over Russell, not saying they would have made a deep run, I think they would have been a harder opponent to get out of, because to me, it looked like the gas tank was on empty with Russell. He wasn't creating plays and chaos. I think Justin Fields can still do that. Now, he's going to have certain limitations as a passer, and that's just is what it is.
And that's
But
why we pulled him. And
yeah,
it ain't that they was playing bad. It was just when you got a dude like George Pickens and we just gave Pat Fryermuth his extension, like you want to see what you can get out of the passing game. That's the only reason why we ended up pulling them, and because of course Tomlin promised Russ the starting position before the season, and you know good well as I do that you don't lose your starting spot due to injury.
I know, but coach, you saw at one point that the Steelers were finished with Russ. Like, you saw it before your own eyes. When you entered the playoffs, you weren't like, we're going to be a problem in the playoffs. You were like, we're lucky to be here, and we're going to be one and done again. Like, you saw it with your own eyes. And then there was periods in the game where Fields could have been brought in. So again, I'm not saying he doesn't go back to Pittsburgh, and definitely Tomlin is a better situation because of who he is. But if he goes back there and then gets benched again, Fields' career is probably over. It's probably over.
But if he comes back to us, that means
Yeah, but
he was given a clear path to start. That's been his whole thing. This whole well, I mean, the offseason just been 2 weeks now, but that's been this whole thing is like I want to come back with a clear pathway to start. So if we do bring him back,
Yeah.
I mean that we promised him the clear pathway to start.
Yeah, coach, we're real quick, and then Terrence. I know Terrence is on his way to work. Real quick, if I think Fields will probably go back there, but I don't think he'll sign before he's going to hit free agency.
I believe
So
that.
I think he's going to listen to off. So I think he's going to listen to offers. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he'll be signed by the time free agency starts. But
Oh
again,
yeah,
if I'm
I'm definitely
wrong,
not
that's
naive to
just my
that.
opinion
No,
on
you
it.
you right, PD. I'm definitely not naive to that. I think he'd be
That,
crazy not to allow himself to see what's out there.
Coach, the other
Yep.
thing is Tomlin, I think, is coaching for his job next year. That's why I think you guys are going to bring in a veteran. I think Tomlin is coaching for his job.
But
I
who's
think
the
if he misses
veteran,
the
Buckeye?
playoffs or does a one and done,
If I'm the Steelers, go get
I don't
Matt
know.
Stafford. Do
Yeah,
whatever it takes to go get
that's
Matt
what
Stafford.
the reports has been.
Wow. Yeah, that'll be Terrence. Go
But
ahead.
PD, Tomlin can't survive one more year.
Yeah. I just wanted to say good points by Neil on a lot of it. I just wanted to point out. I'm glad he brought up the Christian Ponder, Blaine Gabbert, Jake Locker draft because if I'm not mistaken, Spielman was the GM for the Vikings when they drafted Christian Ponder. And a lot of this talk about Jackson Dart to the Jets centers around some analysis that Spielman did. And frankly, they're chopping up some of his comments to make it look like he's very complimentary to Jackson Dart when I think it was something he said last year or maybe before he took the consulting job with the Jets. But in the end, he thought he gave him a third round grade. So I agree with what Neil said about, he may be the 40th ranked player, but quarterbacks always rise to the top. But to me, it would be a mistake to draft him at 7. And even if the Jets drafted him in the second round, because that same thing that Hexagon said yesterday about the fans, demanding a winner right away. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to demand that Jackson Dart start right away, which is like Mark is right about, hey, regardless you draft your quarterback, ease him in slowly. Give him a half a year at least. Like that's what they did with Lamar. I mean, that's what Mahomes was the entire year, So, but that's the thing I
Hurts came
worry
in
about. If
halfway
you
too,
draft,
Terrence.
Drake May
huh?
came in halfway too.
Hurts came in halfway.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, at the same time, I'm talking about people that actually have been successful. I'm assuming Drake May will get there, but I'm talking about like the two guys that come to mind that are actually successful in this league. And it wasn't like they just threw him in there. And that's what will happen. We threw in Zach Wilson. We threw in Darnold, mostly because they were drafted so high, but also because the fans demanded it. And so my concern would be you draft him at 7 and then you're going to see OTAs. Oh, look how great he is. Training camp, look how great he is. And the hype is going to be so much that it's good. Like they're going to demand that he's starting on opening day. And to me, also as a pragmatist, I just worry about this Moogie and them basically still trying to figure out like their staffs. Like why would we it's one thing if there was like 4 quarterbacks like Neil predicts next year that are in this draft, but to me, like why would you try to reach for somebody when you don't even know yet what your philosophy is? And to me that's why and also to your point, Neil, about Kyle
McCord.
now
McCord.
the kid
McCourt.
McCord. Yeah, I know. I was trying to, and I'm Irish. I couldn't remember his name, but yeah, I agree with you. The one thing that he does, he's a great supposed middle and deep passer, but he's not an RPO guy. So then the question is, like, if like that's why to me Fields makes sense because you can team him up with Tyrod and at least you're not changing the game plan or the playbook that much. Even though I know Tyrod is 36 years old, But like I just don't want somebody in the room that you have to change the whole offensive game plan if he has to start for a week or two. But anyway, yeah, like who knows what's going to happen, and that's why we're talking now. Everything will come to light in the next month when free agency comes, and then we'll know more about who might we draft. But to me, yeah, I don't want to take any quarterback in the first or second round this year based on what I know about this class. I'd rather get players like Mark said that will help this team and then really go for it in 2026. And that's why, yeah, let the season play out. If we finish in the top 10 because, we didn't get it done and we're the 3-4 win team like the joke is, that's one thing. But if we're in the middle, like in the teens, that's where I still say we need draft capital to move up and get one of these guys in 2026.
Yeah. Terrence, real quick, if first of all, there is no, if the Jets are bad, the Boo Birds are going to be out at home. It's coming, man. Everybody's going to say, "Oh, I don't care." It's going to be dreadful there. I don't think fans want that going, especially people going to games. And I know it's not about just that, but to me, it's
Yeah.
unacceptable
Petey,
going 3-14
Petey,
next
you
year.
gotta
Well,
It
manifest
is.
it, Pete. I manifested that shit,
you
Petey.
know,
No,
it's
I'm
the
not.
Petey,
fans
I'm telling
gotta
you, it starts
stop
with the way
fanning
you
Petey,
talk,
you
and
bro.
build the
gotta
team
It
right.
starts,
But
Petey,
Terrence,
listen to me.
why is it okay? But wait. I want to ask Terrence something. Why is it okay for you guys to think that, but if certain other fans think, oh,
Because
three
it's
and 14
short-sighted.
is unacceptable.
Because it's
How is it
short-sighted.
short-sighted?
Because what do you do then, Petey? What you're gonna then you don't want to trade Garrett Wilson or Quinnen Williams to move up in the draft and get one of these quarterbacks. So then you gotta hope that you get lucky with a second, third, or fourth round pick. Or what do you do with your quarterback then? And that's what winds up killing Aaron Glenn. If they can't find a franchise quarterback, then they're gonna go to the scratch just like all the other coaches in the Woody Johnson era.
And Petey, I usually
Can I say
Okay.
something to
Petey,
that?
I usually don't agree with June, but he was
Yes.
correct when he said there's only two ways you get a franchise dude. It's either you bottom out or you trade the capital to
Yep.
move up to get one.
All right. Well, all right. Yeah, okay, and that's fair. Look, I understand Kansas City moved up, but Josh Allen was number
There you
7.
go.
The Jets had a higher pick than the Jets, than the Bills, and they failed. The Bills didn't.
Lamar
The
32.
Ravens had the 32nd
Mm-hmm.
pick.
Hurt
Yeah,
second
so
round.
I'm
Like we
Trying to
I'm
keep
just
tell
saying,
y'all,
thinking,
like,
man.
you got to pick
Y'all
second
need to get
overall
y'all
to
boy
fix the
in y'all
quarterback
front
problem. I'm
office so I
sorry.
can do with the people, the real Jet fans, the people that are
T, hold
tired.
on 1 second. T, can you hear Mark?
Huh? Mark was talking. I thought he was clearing his
Might
throat.
cook.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah, Mark.
I was
Hold
just
on, T.
saying,
Thanks.
look, if you're going to, thank you. I'm just saying, if you're going to build your team, which I'd rather have a much better football team all around, right? All three phases. And then you had a quarterback that's a middle of the first. You really think you can't trade capital to get up into the middle of the first round? Where we got to stop acting like you need the number 2 overall pick to be relevant in the NFL. Like, that's not how this has worked. It's not how it works.
And it
You
didn't,
know,
Mark. It didn't work for Detroit, Mark. It didn't. They had Matthew Stafford, and yes, it did work with the trade,
but
but it didn't work at number 1.
most
They
important,
traded him. It didn't. Did it work for the Rams with Goff? You could say it did. He got to a Super Bowl, but they traded him.
and I understand,
Did
Pete,
it
it's a
work for
new.
Cleveland with Baker Mayfield, Mark? I'm just
No,
asking.
no,
Hey,
it did not. And
Petey.
here's the piece. I'll land on this. Most importantly, and I understand this is a new regime. Most importantly, it didn't work with the Jets. And when you look at the Jets, you got to think about not just the coaching staff, regime, player evaluation, but also expectations, the fan base, the media, the environment. It's New York. Like why do that? Why do it again and wreck a young quarterback's career when instead you could build a real solid football team and then put a quarterback into that environment and then ease them into a starting role? I'm just playing the percentages on it. It's lightning in a bottle with picking a guy second overall and man, hopefully he's a can't miss prospect, or it's play the percentages and build a solid team. And now that quarterback has a better chance. Not that it's going to be for sure, but a chance to be successful. That's all I'm saying.
Now you need to
T,
write.
go ahead real quick. T, go ahead real quick, and then Buckeye, go ahead.
Nah, I was just gonna say, I feel like the people that y'all think y'all need to trade to get the capital, are not the people that you need to trade. I feel like if you trade Sauce, everything will be okay. You can get who you need. I'm just saying. I mean, there are
I
corners in
agree
this
with that.
draft,
I'm not trading
but
Sauce.
Petey, that's the thing though. Just because you don't think there's better talent out there, that don't mean it's not true. You gotta
Right.
go. You
Well,
gotta go deep. I keep telling
well, the
y'all.
Jets are
I
somebody.
understand, Petey.
A trade is part of a gamble.
The right,
So if
right,
they
right,
think
right.
that's what's going to
But
happen,
even if you don't
so
trade, right, and I'm not the biggest fan of trading away your picks. If you are in good position to get good, you have to go deeper than the first and second round. You have to go deeper. That's why y'all need to talk to guys like Neil. Ask them who are the underrated guys. Who are the guys no one's talking about? Sometimes you got to go pick them guys because they're hungry, Petey. Just because they're underrated don't mean
I
they're not
understand
hungry.
that. But the
You know,
Jets
like
obviously
what if
don't
you
know how
had
to
an
build a
underrated
team.
quarterback, but the boy is always hungry. He go out there and give you everything he got. Ain't that what you want, Petey? Ain't that what the Jets want?
Of course. Well, what I want is no hands up. So I want to get to the hands. So Buckeye, you're the co-host now, so you don't have to raise your hand. Jump in, and then I don't know who the Q is.
All right. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, what's up?
So, quick question: the rookies last year at quarterback, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels. Coming into last season, do you feel that Caleb Williams probably was put in the best position with the roster of talent?
Caleb was certainly in a better position than Justin Fields was when he became a Bear, right?
Didn't the Commanders start tearing it down with like Sweat and Chase and certain guys of like high stature? They started pushing those guys out the door before they brought in Jaden Daniels. Didn't they start getting rid of some of the top talent in there?
They did.
All right, so we're ignoring the other side of the argument completely. Is that what we're doing?
Nah.
I haven't
I
had
see
my
what he's
coffee
doing.
yet.
I see what Buckeye doing. Thank you, Buckeye. Thank you.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. We're gonna have a Good Morning Mark session every day.
No, what Mark?
Look, if you want me on the
Mark.
warpath, I'll go on the warpath. I mean, we just watched the Super Bowl, won by a second overall
Wait,
pick
T,
at
hold
quarterback.
on,
Like, I don't
please.
know what
Let Mark do this.
Yeah, this is absurd.
Let Mark and
Because you
Buckeye
guys,
isolate.
you're telling me the Jets,
Talk to him, Mark.
who drafted Zach Wilson second overall, and now you're like, oh well, Mark. And we just heard Neil talking about, oh well, you can put a quarterback in a lousy situation, and then guess what? They leave the team and they go somewhere else. Like, I don't understand this fantasy of like the Jets draft the dude second overall,
Get him, Mark.
and then it's a setup, like, and they're set up for success, and so it's fertile ground for a young quarterback to start. No, it is not.
Get
New
him,
York
Mark.
is a treacherous
Mark,
environment.
if you ask,
Hold on,
He
I'm
talking.
talking.
Let him talk.
New York is a treacherous
let him cook.
environment for a young quarterback. And I mentioned, by the way, and this is why you got to look at the whole context of things. You can't just pick. I hate it when folks pick a narrative and then choose some shit and that fits it. I would rather blank out my mind and see the whole field. Because I'm
Talk to
looking
him,
at
Mark.
not just what's happening in the front office, I'm looking at the fans, I'm looking at the media, I'm looking at the expectations, and that it's New York. This is the environment a young quarterback gets into. I am sick and tired of the quarterback carousel and having to churn through quarterbacks and then seeing these fucking guys be successful on other teams because the Jets chirp quality players the fuck out of town. Like, enough is enough already with this
Talk to
shit.
him, Mark.
Instead,
Mark,
when you build a real
Mark, and I'm gonna let Mark.
What's the
Mark, I'm gonna let him. Hold on, I'll say one thing, Mark, and Neil can answer for himself. If you ask Neil, would he rather have the roster of talent, totality of where they are cap wise of the Dolphins, which is laden with talent, or be the barren, empty roster of the Patriots with Drake May and that cap spend and directionally and coach and everything else? I'll let Neil answer that, but I have a funny feeling he'd rather be where the Patriots are right now with a barren salary, barren roster right now.
Yippee skippy with the
But they are
Patriots and all
lined
their
up.
cap space, Buckeye, because now they're like, they just won supermarket spree at fucking the dollar store.
They're gonna breeze past the
pickle
Dolphins
that
and
they're
Jets
adding?
again. That's what they're
T.
gonna do.
Higgins is getting the
They're gonna
franchise
breeze
tag.
past us
Who
again.
the fuck is May throw it to? Like, can we stop with only seeing
Stay
one
tuned.
part?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right, so they're
Mark,
back.
we don't
The
have
Patriots
a
are back.
bro. Dude is crazy.
We gotta get a QB
But to be fair, though, the Jets are going to be in the Patriots situation next year with over $100 million
Not if
If we
you
do things right,
you spend
yes.
for
but we
Justin
don't have the
Fields, but
quarterback
y'all
yet.
want to spend for Justin
No,
Fields though.
all right. I want to get Dom and Office in here too, and then my buddy Czar. I don't know where you've been, Czar. What up, Czar? But
Don't give Zara
go
Mike.
ahead,
No,
Dom.
Pete,
Please don't
I'll,
give Zara Mike.
Pete,
I
I'm gonna
know who
hang on.
Czar is.
Don't
I'm
give
gonna
him
hang
no.
on.
Oh
Please do not
no,
give him a
I
mic.
know
Who the hell is
better.
Oh,
talking?
All right. I give whoever I want a mic. If I could be like Mike, all right.
Hell no.
T just talks right through mute. It's
I don't know
crazy.
how he does that, man.
He does it, man.
So sorry for the Michael Jordan thing, but shout out to the GOAT. Yes, Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Okay. I didn't mean Mike as in Michael Jordan, MIC. If I want Czar to have a mic, I control the room. Buckeye controls the room. June controls the room. Mark controls the room. This is not Twitter Space 101 for dummies. All right.
I want to hear
Bet.
from Czar's Broncos who he thinks, like, who's the free agents that Muji might try to scheme to be a Jet. I'm curious about that.
All right. Dom can't talk yet, so Office is next, and then Neil. Please, guys, just respect the space. I'm not in the mood. Go ahead.
Grr.
nah, I was just fucking with you, Petey.
Yeah, Coach, you're good, man.
Yeah, we're good.
You'll be Coach. Coach will be even better when he's a closet Jeff fan when Fields
Fuck
comes
no.
here.
Fuck no.
Hey,
Fuck
Pete,
no.
I need like 2 minutes.
Coach, you know what? Coach, yeah, go ahead.
Nah, let Don go. We gonna get back to it,
Whoever.
Petey.
No. I need like 2 minutes. I'm doing something with the kids.
Oh, all right. Yo, Coach, if the Jets do get Fields and they play him at home, you could be my guest here at MetLife.
Say that then. Just make sure you fly
Hold
me
up.
out.
Are you sold on Fields right now?
Am I? No, I don't think. I got to see
Okay.
who they bring in. Reginald, what's up?
What's
All
up?
right. All right, Office, go ahead, man. Good morning.
Morning, Petey. Morning, Buckeye, Mark, everybody, Neil.
Good to see you,
Good
bro.
morning.
Morning, Office.
All foods.
I think T Dizzle should change his name to Unmutable. But think about it too, right?
Unmizzle.
That's right. But like when it comes to the draft, there's just 2 points I wanted to share. Only one guy can go number one, and so on up the chart, right? Like you can't have two guys picked at any number, and that's where sometimes guys like you've been talking about get kind of pushed to the side or underrated or maybe overrated and so on. I guess my key point is this. I want to pick guys that can help me build if I'm the Jets, but I'm going to keep at least one spade in my pocket, whether it's this year or next year, probably more so next year. But I'm keeping that one spade to get that quarterback, no matter where it's at, kind of similar to what Neil had mentioned about. I mean, look, you can laugh or you can say it was a good move, but the Ravens had the ability to trade just simply 4 picks different to get Lamar. They had that spade available. And that's just all I'm hoping for the Jets is that they have that spade when it's time for the guy they really want. Whoever you put in there until then ain't going to matter.
100%.
But have a great morning. I'll listen.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree. Listen, I'll be honest here. Mark's here. I know I throw digs at Mark. It's all out of love and respect. And I fucking do not agree with Mark a lot. But I have a mutual respect for Mark. And I think Mark is dead on right here. Every quarterback that we draft is run out of town. They don't have a chance. Even Geno.
Pete,
Everybody loved
You
Geno
got to
in the
do something
beginning.
different.
Sorry.
Go
You
ahead,
got to
Dom.
do something different.
Listen, Pete,
Go
you
ahead,
good?
Dom.
I gotta
Yeah.
I gotta step in there. Like, what are we doing here with Geno and Sam Darnold? Like, Sam Darnold had a wonderful year. Good for him. I'm really happy. Guess what? He's on his 5th team. You know what I mean? So yes,
Yep.
was he set up for success in New York? No, probably not. The moment we took Sam Darnold, what did we follow that draft with? Folu Fatukasi? Was he like the next guy? I don't think you took an offensive lineman again. So those are wounds of our past. Geno Smith, how long did it
Yes.
take him before he became relevant? What are we doing here about that?
Endless
Dom,
time.
I'll
Dom,
tell
you're
you what
right.
we're
I'm
doing.
just
Go ahead, please.
bringing up. I just brought up Gino. I didn't really comment on him.
I know, but I'm listening to it. Listen, we have tried. We have tried to, kind of break down and rebuild, and it didn't work. We have tried kind of quick fix. Let's pay the high top dollar free agency guys. After the Itzik era since 1969. So it's not going to work
Correct.
until it does, right? So we can line up on whatever side of the fence that we want as Jets fans. In that, hey, we need to build it the right way, or hey, we need to, we got a team that, we should have never got out of Rodgers, or whatever the argument du jour is going to be for the next however long. But whatever option that we've tried has not worked, right? The number 2 overall pick hasn't worked. We tried to trade up from the middle of the first round for guys like Sanchez. That doesn't work. We've tried to bring in the grizzled veteran, future Hall of Famer. That didn't work either. So nothing works until it finally does. I know that sounds stupid, but I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, Dom, that's a great Dom. Can I just say one thing? And I'm not kissing your fanny here. When you brought up that point to me about the whole Rodgers thing, that convinced me. And I'm sorry, I'm switching subjects a little bit, but I agree with what you're saying, Dom. But I just think, you're right. People are going to be on one side of the fence or the other. You think it's different. I think they can win next year. You probably don't. I look
at this roster, and I do not see a team. I mean, listen, this is me, and I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not talking to Petey, Buckeye, Mark, Neil, T. Dizzle, anybody. Feel how you want and be your opinion. I look at the roster, and I would be lying to myself if I said I think this is a contending roster. Right?
100%.
There's holes up and down the defense. You're missing 5 to 6 starters on defense, at least 3 starters on offense, let alone all the depth and the quarterback. So even however you address the quarterback, Justin Fields doesn't excite me, but I would, I understand it. Tyrod Taylor doesn't excite me, but I would understand it.
What about Joe? What about Joe?
Who? I can't hear. Somebody keeps talking over me, man.
I said Joe.
Who?
Joe who?
Milton.
All right, I'm done. I'm done, Pete. Thanks.
Why are you done?
Really?
Why are you done?
I can't hear, man. I can't hear everything.
Oh, well, you're good. Come on. Joe Milton is not an option right now.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Just calling him Joe and us knowing that that's Joe Milton, you think he's earned that he's Joe?
For Don to
thought he
say
was
I'm
leading into
done.
Joe
I
Milton.
thought he
That's
was
what I
saying
thought
I
was
was
happening.
done because he said Joe Milton.
Yeah.
He called him Joe.
Look,
All
the
right, Joe.
thing,
All right.
It was your
can I say
report
something
today.
real fast on this? Well,
Hold on, you guys want to take a flyer on Joe for real though?
look,
Go ahead, Mark, and then Hector.
I think when we talk about past scenarios with like Gino and Darnold, like it's not actively trying to rub salt in the wounds. It's that, if you don't pay attention to the past, you're condemned to repeat it. So I'm trying to say, okay, if they're going to get out of this, what can they learn? Like, I remember I was actually talking to a good buddy of mine who's a Dolphins fan the other day, and I don't know how Sam Darnold came up in the conversation. I think it was around the playoffs and Darnold and all that. Like, wow, look at this guy in the turnaround. And it was like, he reminded me that at the time that the Jets had an opportunity to draft Zach Wilson, that the whole Darnold versus, like, do you keep Darnold and trade down and build versus, like, that was a real conversation. Like, it's not like it was, not a big, like, not a debate. It was a debate, a real debate to consider, wait a second, maybe they should trade down and actually build around. Because Darnold was super young at the time, too. How old was Darnold when they got rid of him?
He was only like 21, man.
24.
Yeah, he was a young guy.
Mark, he was like 20 when he came in. And Mark, by the way, they gave him fucking three second-round picks to move up. And Indianapolis hit on those draft picks too, by the way.
But in that case, oh my God.
Go ahead.
In that case,
go ahead, Dom.
In the Darnold case, when it came down to that decision, again, context to this situation is, where were we, right? We were literally, Joe Douglas is it was ripping down to the studs. Like, that was true rebuild, right? So if you were rebuilding it from the ground up, it made no sense to do it with a quarterback contract that wasn't on the rookie scale. So I think that there's a little bit more context to the Darnold thing. I don't think it was, oh, Darnold stinks, he's not the guy. I just think it was like, well, we don't know if he's the guy, but we'd rather take a shot on a guy that is one of ours. We didn't pick Darnold. Let's pick our own and have the rookie scale to it. I mean, there is that involved as well.
Yeah, they reset. Yeah, and Dom, to be fair, real quick, Mark.
Yeah.
Joe Douglas admitted they tore it down, and they said that all these rookies are going to play, and they set us up for that. This regime hasn't done that yet.
In hindsight, coming now before they got fired, I'm sure they would have gone back and said, you know what? We changed our mind. Let's go back to 2022. We'll take the offer to trade down and get more picks because Sam wasn't it. But that's not this is that would be hindsight.
Well, don't mistake me for this is not a victory lap. I'm talking about that there were roads that this and listen, let's say they kept Darnold and traded down and built. Well, now you have Saleh and Joe Douglas. And now we have, with benefit of hindsight, who Saleh and Joe Douglas are from a drafting perspective, coaching perspective, and the rest of it. Who's to say that whole thing would have worked out, right? And again, everything we said before about the Jets and the media, like all that shit is still true. So there's no guarantee that would have worked out either. But when you have a scenario like the Jets are in right now, where you have a rookie GM, a rookie head coach, a rookie offensive coordinator, like can be a very, and you still have New York. It's a very difficult situation for a rookie quarterback, a college guy to step into. And tell me on this side of the ball on offense, who's got a track record of developing a young quarterback like that. I think there's a gap in the coaching staff around that, and it's the most important position on the field. The Jets rolling into the year with Tyrod Taylor, and what I see happening if they stand pat, is Taylor starts, eventually he gets hurt. You wreck what is left, if anything, of Jordan Travis' confidence because he's forced into starting. Presumably he gets hurt. Then you're drafting whoever your third guy is. Now your rookie quarterback is thrust into a starting position in his first year, and he ain't ready. Like, I see a lot of trouble brewing for the Jets.
I don't think they're going to.
Mark, can I ask you a question though? Can I ask you to the point you just made?
Yeah, sure.
What do you know? I mean, be honest, because I'm going to be honest, and I think, and I'm not speaking to you because you can tell me differently, and that's fine. But I think most people don't know a goddamn thing about the coaches, especially the quarterback's coach. We say that there's a gap, or there's a guy that doesn't. We don't know about this coach. You hope that Aaron Glenn and Muji, who we don't know much about as leaders either, because this is their first time doing it. We hope they're putting the right guys in place. So if you know that the quarterback's coach isn't going to be able to develop anything, like, I'm all ears for it. I don't know who the hell he is.
Hey,
neither. I'll admit it too. Neither do I.
Other than what we read on Wikipedia, more than likely we don't know anything about this guy. We don't know how he is developing quarterbacks. You can read a track.
We're all reading tea leaves on this, but schematically, there are some answers. If we look, we're just looking at all the pieces and trying to put answers together. No one in here knows the truth. All right, so we can start with that. But what we know
Speaking
about
of
Glenn,
the truth,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark. Well, speaking of the truth, let's get to Czar. Yeah, Hector, go ahead real quick, and then Czar, because he's been waiting.
Yeah, there was a report today that Edwin Moses they're not retaining him, so that's another spot. They're not going to re-sign
Edwin
Moses.
Moses is right tackle.
That opens up another big hole.
Yes, but it doesn't matter. They'd have to bring him back anyway. They need a right tackle, so it is a hole. He's not on the roster right now, Hector. To be fair,
but what I'm thinking is, I think they are going to tear this thing down. Because you got rid of Rodgers, you're getting rid of all the old guys, and let this year be what it is. I think that's their plan. If you're old, a veteran on this team, you're out.
I don't think so.
We'll just see what happens in the next, couple of weeks.
I think there's a difference.
Moses wasn't under contract. His contract expired.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know that, but are you going to draft the right tackle?
But you had to fill it one way or another, right? There's
Yeah,
no
I
guarantee that Moses wanted to come back here. Right? How do we, like, what are we doing here? We didn't cut
uh,
him.
uh,
His
uh,
contract voided.
there's a difference
yeah.
between cycling older veterans out that came in for on 1 or 2 year deals and saying, you know what, the all-in didn't work and we're cycling these guys out, versus we're going to also eject the core of young talent on the team, like guys that are potentially building blocks. Like I don't think, like for example, if they cut ties with Tyron Smith, which what Smith is out, it doesn't mean that Garrett Wilson is next. Like I don't follow the train of thought.
Listen, I'm not saying you got to get rid of every one of our core group,
Could I
but
ask
let's
Neil
see
a
if they
question
if
for
they get
y'all?
if they make a move for an asset for next year. And then we'll see who's right.
Mark, could I ask Neil a question for y'all?
Yeah,
Personnel.
T. 1 second though. 1 sec. You can, but
I think y'all might
let's.
really want to hear his answer though. I'm just being honest.
What's the question? Because I want
It's
people
it's
to. If
really
people
about
got
y'all
their hands
personnel.
up,
Like
I
it's
don't.
legit about Jets. Give me a chance. Let me cook. Hey Neil, do you think that the Jets could use another corner in this draft? And one of the guys that you were high on, my god brother. Do you think they should draft my god brother to pair with Sauce?
I do think cornerback's going to be a need for them because I think DJ Reed's going to get a big contract on the open market, especially with the free agent well drying up. So, and I believe they lose Brandon Eccles as well. So they're going to have Sauce and Michael Carter, and Carter's their nickel. They could use another starter as their number two and probably even depth at corner. So yeah, I think they should be paying attention. And I wouldn't put it past a guy like Will Johnson being in play at 7.
To dovetail on what Neil just said, there's not only a need at cornerback, like starting and depth. There's also a need for 4 safeties, 3 if you give the tender to Tony Adams, but still
Yep.
3 safeties.
Damn.
Right tackle and all the depth there. The entire tight end room, the quarterback room. There's only 2
Wide
edges
receiver.
worth a damn
Sure.
on the roster. One of them's coming back from a blown Achilles.
Right.
There's gaping holes on the defensive line next to Quinton Williams. So
So
yes,
you
you could
trade
throw a
back.
dartboard. You could throw a dartboard. You could throw a dart at a dartboard that has all the positions instead of numbers, and the Jets will have a need.
So should they trade back?
I don't think there's a taker for that.
Who's being traded
Easier
up?
said than done.
Yeah, who they traded? There's going to be no quarterbacks. Those are the real prize possessions where people trade up for, especially in this draft. And
That's
Neil
why
can
it's
attest to it. I mean, everyone's grading who does this, who analyzes is a little different. The consensus is that there's maybe 10 first round grades total. Not a lot of people are going to be wanting to trade up. There's nobody there to go get. If you need an edge, you can get one at the end. There's Carter might be off the board, and then after that, like edge 2 through edge 8 might be, all around the same level and the same tier. One guy might be better than this, one guy might be better than that. Cornerback, same thing. Will Johnson, after Hunter, might be the best true corner, but he's got his questions, right? He had the turf toe. There's grumblings about his long speed. So there's no one really that people are going to trade up for. It's easy to say
Can I
trade down. Yeah, who doesn't want to trade down and get more capital? But
can
And
I
So if
play
you're the
devil's
Jets,
advocate for a second,
if
guys?
you're
On this, just 1 second. We haven't yet seen what do folks usually. I'll do it with questions. What do folks teams usually trade up for?
Quarterback.
We haven't yet hit the combine. We haven't
pass
yet
The
rusher,
seen the
best
splash
guy
of
for
pro
the
That's
days
for
not
where
true,
quarterback
PD.
leading teams in the league. Like, who's to say? And we're going to see tons of smoke out of front offices around how, oh, the Jets are presumably high on Jackson Dart. Like, we're going to see all the smoke show. We're not even, it's February, right?
yeah, but
So who
Mark,
knows?
I think what Dom was trying to say is just the gap from like pick the player number 12 on your big board to player number 50 as thin as it's ever been. And that is like, Daniel Jeremiah has said it recently. I mean, there is not a lot of elite chip talents in this draft, and I think even the ones that are deemed it, have question marks. As good as Travis Hunter is, everyone automatically assumes that in the NFL you can assume a dual role as a receiver and a defensive back. It's not that easy, I don't think. So, I think what Don was trying to highlight there is just that, like, the difference between a Will Johnson, if you picked him at 7, and a Jedi Barron who you get picked at 29, it's very thin. It's razor thin. and it is a consensusly draft class that's kind of frowned upon. I know that a lot of NFL scouts, a lot of people that cover it, deem it a weak draft class, and they say that from time to time, but it is one of those things where I think the strength of this draft is round 2, actually, because the players you can get probably from pick 32 to or 33 to 50 are guys that you could probably get at pick 18. Like, it's just that, so it's interesting. And, I think everyone always, there will be trades. We know that. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of teams giving up draft capital for the future and stronger drafts to move up into the top 10 of what's deemed a weak class.
Hey,
What you just said is further, like, you should not reach for a quarterback in the second round. You're going to give up some good talent in the second round if you're taking Howard or
100%.
McCord in the
Yeah,
second round.
because like
Neil,
if Howard
Neil.
goes, like I see y'all jumping the gun to go get my god brother. Because if Travis and Howard are gone, you need a corner. You need one. You legit
Well,
need a
Neil.
corner.
but wait, the Jets are I'm going to assume that the Jets, yes, they'll draft one maybe later if they don't get. I think Will Howard, whatever his name, Johnson, uh, T Mac, Mason Graham, all these guys are in play at 7. Let's see. I think the Jets are going to. Aaron Glenn's going to bring somebody over too. Let's
Hey,
let's
Neil.
talk about that
I'm stepping away
eventually.
for a few. Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
talk about.
Reg,
I'm stepping
one
away for a
sec.
few
Let me
minutes.
get to Czar because Czar's been waiting. He probably fell asleep. Czar, did you?
Oh fuck
Yuri.
no.
Oh
Oh
God.
What's
hell.
going
All right. I got Czar. Okay. I don't want comments.
Sorry,
I know Czar. Okay. Czar is cool with me. Czar, I need to know what shades you got on. Number one. Number two, don't interrupt him, please. I don't have to threat. This is what I mean. I shouldn't have to mute the room for this shit. Let Czar talk. I got him. If he's a problem, he's gone like the wind. Go ahead, Czar.
Thank you for that.
That's a delayed mute. I hope you're not thanking me for the delayed mute, Czar. Go ahead,
Thank you for
Czar.
that dissertation, sir. I'm not gonna be long. Couple things. Well, I'm gonna do it again. Yuri, Yuri. It is I, the Czar. I missed you bastards. Shout out to the snot nose punk. You need to blow your nose before you get on the mic. Couple things. The
Thank
Jets.
you.
You know how I'm telling you. You can blow your goddamn nose, bro. But anyway,
I'm gonna blow my nose into my Super Bowl
All right, guys.
tissues.
I'm gonna pause.
my
All right.
bad.
I was just gonna say something, but I'll pause that one.
Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, Paul.
What were you gonna say, PD?
Nah. Go ahead, Czar.
Nah, but the Jets, y'all are interesting, man. To me, you guys gotta have the identity, man. Like, I know you had Rodgers, you went the high flying offense. When I think of the Jets in history, I just think like the Jets are one of those teams is that you guys just get it done with the talent you got. You put your hard hat on. You're known for defense. You're known for balance. And I think you guys got to get back to that. That's just me being honest. I know somebody's gonna blow me up because of this. I really see. Well, I really think the Jets should actually go get Trevor Lawrence from Jacksonville. I don't know what the numbers would be because you guys are not known for developing a quarterback. But I think Trevor Lawrence, along with your receiver, what's the guy's name?
Garrett
Garrett
Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson, and and the quarterback from Jacksonville. I think that'll be a good deal. But on the back
But
end,
why would Liam Cohen want to lose him? Isn't the reason Liam Cohen went there for him?
I can't confirm that. That's a good point.
And just some more context to that, he's got a no trade clause.
Who, Trevor Lawrence?
Correct.
Well, that's like I said, I don't know, but I mean, that's the guy I see in New York for you guys. And
Didn't Trevor
one
just
more
sign an
thing.
extension too? Czar, you're not going to
Yeah,
get.
he
I
he
got
did
you.
he
Go
he
ahead.
did sign an extension with Jacksonville. Like I said, the numbers are crazy. Jacksonville paid him, but I just think
Thanks for that point, Dom.
we're at the
I
age
didn't
and
know
the
he
year and age
no
right
trade
now
clause.
that you go get your guy, regardless of what the media thinks, regardless what the excuse my language, fuck what everybody else thinks. Go get your guy, and I think that's the Jets guy. One more thing, I think you need to get rid of one of your defensive pieces. Quentin Williams may have to go. or what's the guy's name? The corner.
Gosh.
Yes, sir.
One of those guys might have to go for you guys to actually move up and do what you have to do. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Peter, you got any questions about the Broncos before I go, man?
Mark does, but he stepped away, so
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
Do you
Hey,
guys think?
Czar, I
Hey,
got a
Czar,
question.
good to hear from you, brother.
Hey, Czar, did you
True.
think we was
Hey,
gonna
I
do it?
appreciate it, man. One more thing. Hold, bro. Hold on. I'm still flying the airport. I'm trying to land my plane. Just a side note off of sports. I was kicked out of Costco the other day because I was hanging out. I was hanging out in the produce section where it's real cold with the dairy and the milk. And the guy asked me, he said, "Why are you hanging out in here?" There was an abundance of white women that walked in and their nipples were hard. So he told me to get out. I
Oh
was getting hurt.
God
I'm
damn!
just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
Yes, man.
These
Leave
bars is
grandmama
on you.
alone, dog. Sorry, leave grandmama
I don't
alone.
even get that much leash. That's crazy.
Oh
So they have
man.
the Kirkland
Yeah, man,
nipples.
the Kirkland nipples, the butter, all that stuff.
Yo, that's nasty.
Hey
Were they on
man, you better
clearance?
leave them. You better leave them.
Czar, were they on clearance? All right,
Buy
guys,
one get
let's
one
move on.
free.
At least we can have some humor at some point. Curtis, you're next, and then Office.
Oh man, Czar, that milk was milking hard, man. You my man. That's hilarious. Oh
What's
man.
up, Curtis? How are you?
Doing
Yeah,
good,
Curtis,
man.
you came in all
Doing
hot on
good.
the mentions today. I'm not.
Well,
I
because I'm tired.
actually.
Listen, I'm worn out. I'm tired of listening about A-Rod. He's dead to me. He's buried. We're gonna do some ultimate. We're gonna do some alternate memes, and we're gonna, like I told you weeks ago, we're gonna piss off half the fan base because there's some people who's gonna have to go.
Yeah.
To get to where we need to get to. We're gonna have to look at every avenue to get the quarterback, man. And it may be a name that y'all like, what the fuck? Why we get this guy? Let's see how it goes, man. This whole cornerback deal, y'all keep forgetting our head coach was a great cornerback who happens to be 5'9". He has players on his squad he's already thinking about putting next to Sauce because he's not giving up Sauce. He's not gonna give up Sauce. The person he's already got 2 under 6 foot corners who's very well, 3 actually, and he's going to roll with that. So I don't be surprised when we don't make any move on the
Yeah,
cornerback.
I don't think Curtis. Real quick, you can keep going. I don't think he is going to give up on Sauce. I think he sees him and he thinks he can turn him around and he could be part of the future of the Jets. That's just my opinion, though. But
This is
that's
gonna be an
that
evaluation year for him.
for who?
yeah.
Sauce?
For Sauce.
Nah.
You
He
heard it
might
for
not get
Sauce.
rid of
Even
him,
though,
Well, I don't know
but it's
about
gonna
no
be
I
his
feel
eval
fourth
like
year,
year.
he'll.
y'all.
I feel like
Hold on,
he'll
man.
help
My
him.
time, gentlemen. Let me finish my
Go
thoughts
ahead.
because I know y'all like to blow up and jump in. It ain't no eval for Sauce. He had a lower year to our standards because we're fucking spoiled. But that's neither here nor there.
But you
I
have a new
think
GM coming in. You have a new GM coming in, meaning now he's go what?
okay,
He's gonna have to play on this fourth year. Now
third
it's
year,
gonna be a
third.
question. It's gonna be a third year or fourth.
It'll be third, and then
No,
they figure out what they're going to do
Sauce
the
is on his
option.
4th year right now, Curtis, to be
Okay, my
fair.
So
bad,
Sauce
my
is
Third.
on
bad.
his fourth year, so they're gonna have. He's gonna be. They're gonna evaluate him to see whether to pick up his fifth year option,
Which they
and from
will.
the fifth
They
year,
will.
whether to give him a contract.
They'll give him a
And you
fifth
have a
year whether they
cornerback.
like him or not. Because
And you have a
even if they
cornerback
don't like
as
him, if they don't like him, they can use him as a
Yeah,
trade bait.
Reg, they're
So they're going to
definitely,
pick him
of
his fifth
course.
they're
year.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Reggie,
That's
they are definitely picking up his 5th-year option. There is no
Yeah,
way
there's
they're
no
not.
now
way they're not.
By the way,
the
Yeah,
real
why
one
quick,
is
the
he
one
trying
that
to get rid of Sauce
I'm
Gardner
not.
when you just
No,
Because we
no
got
no no no
fans
I'm
who
not
don't
trying.
I mean,
understand
you
shit.
see him again?
I
Mark,
just feel
Mark, are you
now
here?
DJ Reed I feel fits
Yeah.
that scheme of Aaron Glenn.
Yeah,
That's
but
more of his fit.
can
Okay, let's be real, and that's another thing. We're talking about dude's scheme. Like that was his scheme in
Petey,
Detroit with
hello?
the plays that he had.
Reggie
We
go
don't.
ahead,
said,
go ahead,
Petey,
Mark. I don't
I'm
think
here.
you can hear Curtis.
Y'all can't
No, I
hear me.
can't. I'm sorry. Go
All
ahead.
right,
Want me to
I
drop?
got you. Yeah, come back, Mark. Go ahead, Curtis. And then, guys, I want to get
Okay,
rid of
so
these hands. So, Go ahead, Curtis.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up real quick because we really don't know the defensive scheme he's exactly going to put out because he had a different profile of players over there. I'm very intrigued to see how he's going to move because we have a lot of holes, especially on the defense. I definitely see Quinnen getting out of there and Quincy because he's on his last year anyway. So there's no loyalty to them. And I think they may be trade bait if he feels that we need a lot more pieces. And nothing personal. I like Quinnen as a person. But with the team constructed as it is, he can't be dominant unless he has somebody at least average next to him. So that's how we're gonna move, man. I'm just worn out of talking about quarterbacks. So for the next 2-3 weeks, I am going to talk about every position outside of the quarterback because that's outside of our control, and we did the move that we needed to do. I'm done talking, Pete.
Thank you. And you're
Curtis.
you're entitled to your opinion. You know, like with the whole Rodgers thing. I think people are going to bring it up, but he's gone. I agree.
Can I,
Go ahead.
Petey?
Hurry up,
Can
because
I
I
ask
got
Curtis?
hands, Jones. But I
All
know.
right.
Go ahead.
Again, with people that's out on Quinnen,
I'm not.
I know you're not, Petey, but what does the team gain? It doesn't help the cap. If anything, I believe it hurt it, doesn't it?
Well,
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I'm down on him. What I'm saying is we have so many holes.
Oh, well, speaking Curtis, but Jones, that goes to the point right here. What does it do? It hurts us. Then we have a bigger hole in the middle of the defense, and we're going to get gashed even more.
Well, here's the thing. The price, what do you think a trade for Quinnen Williams is going to net us?
A second
and a fourth.
And then you got to start a rookie there. Then you're looking at starting Leonard Taylor, which I don't mind. I think Leonard Taylor should play more. Okay.
Which
Curtis,
pissed me off because if you looked
I'm
at the
not gonna
tape,
lie, Curtis, that's why we said like they would rather trade Sauce than trade Quinnen because nigga, why would you leave your open up your defense like that? There are corners in this draft that Aaron Glenn, like you said, he likes corners under 6 foot, right? There are at least 10 guys under 6 foot that are fast, run 4.4s, 4.5s in this draft. You can replace
true
him.
cover corners too.
But
true cover corners.
You like true cover corner. You can replace them. You can.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Like most likely,
I
Sauce is on his way out
I know
because
Sauce made you believe.
corners come and go.
Yeah, they do.
Only
Can I
select
say
few get
something,
signed.
please, on this? I'm sick of hearing fans outside the fan base say, "Oh, why don't the Jets get rid of a two-time All-Pro in his first 2 years?"
Thank you.
His first 2 years, a two-time All. You know what? It's great, guys. And we're gonna treat his ass like it's Jamal Adams. Dude, Jamal Adams is a box safety that can't cover worth a shit. All right, and can't stay on the field. And Sauce Gardner, he's a young guy, and you just got Aaron Glenn. You really think he's not going to sit down with Aaron Glenn? And Sauce has been at the building. He's like, "Oh, I'm excited about it." You really think they're not going to sit down and be like, "You know what? Hey, Coach Glenn, can you turn me into the best corner in football? What do I need to be doing? What's my plan?"
I mean, my first thing was add to him,
Come
Mark.
on.
I said add.
But
I said help him.
But
give him a running
Mark,
mate
that's
that's
exactly what I
worthy
was
of
saying.
him.
Though it's gonna be his evaluation year. You know what I mean?
I feel like you give
if he's
him a
gonna try
running
to get
mate,
the
bro.
best out of him, or he's gonna get the best deal out of him. It's one or the other.
I will say this: if Sauce has another year like last, he is not going to fetch a first rounder anymore.
Buckeye. Can I ask a question about Sauce to the Jets fans, not the non-Jets fans? If Sauce has the year he had last year, taking away the flags and improved tackling, are people still wanting to trade him? Let's say he gets one or two interceptions, but take away the flags and you see an improve in tackling. Are people wanting to trade him?
No,
I think people still will, Jones. Go ahead, Buckeye.
Jones, and I'm not trying to be funny here. First thing is he has to want to tackle.
Agreed.
You can see clear as day he doesn't want to tackle.
Agreed.
He has avoided it.
And that I feel like that comes from coaching, the wanting to tackle, but getting your guys out there and that team was mentally fried from week 5, but he should be out there wanting to tackle. But if this guy goes out there next year, improves tackling, and he doesn't have to be no Jalen Ramsey, just be reliable. And take away the flags, and he gives up one touchdown for 300 yards next year, what are we complaining about? Like,
Johns, here's the thing people don't want to talk about because it has to do with Robert Saleh, is that the fans hated him, Saleh, right? And the media was sideways on him. Guess what? Both Sauce and Saleh are from Detroit. Like, we know this, guys. And did Saleh admit to Sabini or to some other reporter that when Saleh left, that actually he took it pretty hard? Like, we don't necessarily want to talk about that because it's Madden and it's just rosters and grades and whatever. And these are people too, man. And he lost the coach that he felt like, and then he went south. Like, and he had a down year this past year. But you know what? A down year for him, you really think he can't, like, he had 2 years of really good, and then a year of bad, and we really think that good is beyond Sauce's ability? I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm out. I'm not buying that shit.
Mark, the fans' vitriol on Saleh, it was warranted.
All right, fine. And now you have players, but does that invalidate my point? Again, I mean, we don't need to go around my point. The Sauce got, like, the loss of Saleh hurt Sauce, and he struggled
this is a big eval year.
I
for
see
Sauce.
the shit is connected.
This is a big eval year for Sauce. I think he has all the ability to be the year 1, year 2 Sauce, but it's an eval year. If this is a repeat of last year, then this is not the guy, and him getting paid is not going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with the getting paid, again, is it's in sales, it's folks leading with price instead of leading with value, which is infuriating to me. Like, I see a young prospect who is highly rated, comes in, has 2 years. Were these like the two? We had people, not that I'm saying they were right, but people comparing Sauce Gardner to Darrelle Revis in terms of, oh, did he have a great, his first, if you ignore last year, oh man, what an incredible start to his career Sauce Gardner's getting to. And then the fan base jumps ship like this, and we're like, oh, well, I don't want to pay him. Oh, the trade talks, what can you get for him? This is the shit I'm talking about in terms of what we do to our own good players on the team. And we want a quarterback
Look,
to
Sauce wants to be here, so
Get the
I'm
F
game
out.
with him. He wants to be
I'm
here.
out.
Sauce wants to be here. I'm game with him. I'm not opposed to Sauce running it back with Sauce and long term it.
Can I say something?
He wants to be here.
Can I say
Yes,
something?
go ahead. Dude, I see you down there. I'm trying to answer you.
Buckeye, I'm not mad at you when you said, but it's just the fact that people act like the next person, oh, let's trade him for a first. They're clapping for that. But they can't tell me, they can't even tell me a corner that the corners coming out aren't even as good as Sauce and Stingley. Literally none.
Agreed.
Then
can I say something?
Yeah.
We're getting a player like we have for at least 5 more years if we give him a good contract. He's not going to get paid $30 million a year. He might be, what, 15, 20 mil a year for a corner?
Who?
Sauce.
No, he's going to be in the mid-20s, if not 30, if he has a repeat of 1 and 2.
Yes. And he's going to do that this year because he knows for a fact if he becomes like at least the top 1 or 2 corner in the league, we need one of the best corners in the game, and we have it right now.
You don't even have to be 1 or 2. You can be top 5. Like,
but I'm saying we need that corner. We need a shutdown corner. I think he is.
Can I ask a question? Did Philadelphia have I'm just asking. Did Philadelphia have a top 5 corner?
No,
yes.
But they had the top 5 of everything else.
What's his name? Yeah, but what's his name? Quinyon Mitchell,
was it? I think Slay's.
Who's their corner?
Yeah,
Slay?
Slay.
I mean, Darius. I mean.
The main thing is,
but still,
Petey, the problem is we were built on coverage sack.
Morning, June.
And our coverage wasn't good last year. We were a coverage sack team. We were not a pressure sack team.
Exactly, Buckeye. And then the people that saying, oh, Quinnen's not this and that. Well, you took away 2 of his running mates, and the other got injured. You take away JFM and Huff, and then
we lost our pass rush.
Yep. Jermaine Johnson got injured. So like, come on, man. Like, people are acting like these guys didn't get. We were a healthy defense the past 2 years. All right, the offense was healthy this year, and the defense wasn't. Like, come on now. And then not going back to Sauce, but with the flags, I believe that's coaching and being better. You take away the flags, he only gave up 300 yards.
Jones, didn't you send me something, Jones, where you sent me something, I believe. He was still ranked in the top 3.
Yeah.
And that
People don't throw at him. They legit do not throw at him.
pull that up.
All
Pull that
right.
up, bro. If you can.
And not only that, you lose the leadership on defense. JJ for
June,
me
I'm
would.
willing to give up my interim co-host. By the way, June, I'm
No,
giving up.
Buck, you good? You good? You good, Buck?
No.
Yeah,
PD uses me. I'm taking it. Go ahead.
Wow.
Speaking of using,
Pause.
imagine the logic of okay, Reed's walking in free agency, test the market. Imagine the logic of not only Reed is out, but now Sauce is out too, and now you're the height of your talent in the quarterback room is Quantez Stiggers. I mean, listen, if you really are trying to be 3 to 4 wins, like if we want to write out the template, we sure can. I think it starts with trading Sauce.
I agree with Mark as far as Sauce that our pass rush was nil, and these guys had to cover for a little bit. You improve the pass rush, you improve Sauce in every other corner we got.
Did you get it, PD? I sent it to your DM.
Checking now. June, what's up? June, I see you brought up Ali Mo up here. What up, Ali Mo? First time up here. I'm assuming you're part of the 34 team.
Alamo's my brother.
Oh, Alamo.
Alamo's my brother.
Alamo. I don't know if Alamo can speak, but if you want to say hello, go ahead, man. If not, continue.
Would love for him to speak, say something.
All right. Let me post this thing that Jones sent.
Hey, P, as far as folks
Okay.
with hands and decorum, guys, as long as we're not talking over each other, just jump in, please. We're just talking.
Yeah, we're good. By the way, good room today, guys. Appreciate all the talk.
June, welcome back.
I see.
Appreciate you there,
Yeah,
Buck.
I see.
Appreciate you there, my
Yeah,
brother.
Mark was doing a run
Yeah.
it back, getting real comfortable with you out of here, but you're back. So run
What's
it
up,
back
June?
out,
No,
Mark.
Oh
that's a
man, I got
lie.
my
Wait, hold
dude,
on.
I got my
Rig
coffee.
McShay.
I'm laid back in the recliner. I'm chill.
June. I'm gonna pull lyrics from a song back in the day. That's a lie. That's a
Mark,
goddamn lie.
funny as hell, man.
What's
Yo,
good, June?
the Red McShay. What's going on, Jones? What's good with you, brother? The Red McSandwich. Everybody want the Red McSandwich, huh?
Check out what
By
PD
the way,
posted.
let me give it. Yeah, I just posted it. Shout out to my man Deuce in here. Deuce, what up? Caleb, Shifty, I see. Kev, long time no talk. Bill Fonz in here. Bill, hello. Meek, haven't heard from Miss Rogers in a while. What up, Meek?
Imagine going from
Okay.
Rodgers to a quarterback like Justin Fields, where the playbook is like the highlights fucking magazine in kindergarten. It's gonna be RPOs, pre-snap reads, no processing like, come on, man.
Yeah,
I'm
wait, Mark. Why are we still talking about? I mean,
talking about Justin Fields. I can't talk
yeah.
about him.
Wait. You don't like Justin Fields now?
I think, listen, if they had if Cliff Kingsbury were the head coach, I feel much better about Justin Fields. And if the Jets had brought in a proven quarterback development guy who understands the college game, I would feel much better about Justin Fields as your quarterback. But you got to first, didn't we already learn this?
And you feel we hired the wrong coach, Mark.
A high drafted quarterback with a rookie offensive coordinator. Like, are we really not learning from the past on
And you
this?
feel
Or
we
just
hired the
floating with
wrong
the
coach,
narratives?
Mark. So are you still talking about Aaron Rodgers right now? Is that what you're saying?
My
No,
bigger
he's
issue
gone. Now we're
is
talking
Mark.
about
You knew your team.
Tyrod, Kirk,
June.
Justin Fields. I mean, this free agent quarterback crop.
So
Carr. We're talking about
once
all these
again,
guys.
basically, what you're saying is that Rodgers is still better than all of them. Yeah, we get that. We understand that, but he's gone now, bro. You gotta. Face facts. He's not coming back to save us.
Better in what sense,
That's
Gene?
no problem.
Statistically or winning games?
I mean, and now we get to lose.
No,
Now we get to win 3 to 4
experience.
games.
Only an experience, there, Buck. Only an
Because I
experience.
think Justin could have won 5 games with the Jets last year. I really do.
Oh
I
boy.
do. I really do. I do too. But
Oh my God. Okay, so here. Okay, hold on. So Justin Fields with Nathaniel Hackett wins 5 games.
Well, Zach Wilson won 7.
Yeah, right. Zach Wilson had 7.
Holy
with Nathaniel Hackett.
All right. Okay. I'm going
and
on.
No
I think it was the
Devontae.
defense.
And no
that won those
Devontae.
games. Yeah, but we had a top-notch defense then. We don't now.
That's because they like Twitter too much.
I'm sorry, man. If you think these guys can
Mark, let's get to the hands, Mark.
Sorry. No, you're
There's
fine.
I see Coach Trey, Mike. Mike, go ahead real quick. I know you'll be quick, Mike. Go ahead. And then Coach Trey in office. What's up, Mike? Mike, is Mike talking?
I don't hear him.
I don't hear him either.
All right, Mike, come back.
Right?
Trey, go ahead. Mark, Mike, are you here?
Yo, what up, fellas? This
There we
is
go.
Coach Trey right here.
Good
Trey,
morning.
what up?
What's up, Coach?
What up?
How many coaches do we have? We have Coach Will, Coach Trey, Coach
So,
T.
More the merrier.
What up, Coach?
Basically, what you're talking about as far as just the whole landscape of the defense, I agree. It needs to be addressed up front. Like, me personally, I'm not a Jets. I wouldn't want to get rid of Sauce because he's so young and he is above average. You know what I'm saying? Well above average as far as his skill set. And which I get in the new DC, it'll have him out a little bit more about him being a corner friendly DC. But the game is one up front. You can really get away with mediocre DBs if your D line is causing havoc. You know what I'm saying? Because the game is one up front. If everybody know that. So as in for me, you know what I'm saying, just being a fan, if I was to call myself an analyst, I would address the D line and the O line. Because if you can get away with doing stuff up front, you can always nip and put guys in that
That's
can run as far as speed.
that's
You
what
know what
the
I'm saying?
Eagles
Like,
did.
you know what I'm saying?
That's what
Like
the Eagles did.
yeah. I mean, because we know now, like what the way the league's going, like pretty much all skill guys is running faster than a 4.5. All the skill guys is running 4.4, 4.5. That's you can place and put a guy with speed at different spots. So, but as far as getting real dogs up front, they don't really come too rarely. So I would address getting them dogs up front. And then y'all can be able to do some stuff, you know what I'm saying, to where y'all can mix it up a little better. That's just if you was to ask me.
All right, let's talk about the Jet D line up front. It's a good time to talk about it, right? So you've got Quinnen Williams, who some folks want to ship out of town for, I don't know, for scratch off tickets. I get it. That's fine. And then you've got Will McDonald, who's coming off of what, a 10, 11 sack performance, but then Jet fans will say, oh, well, he's really a wide receiver, or oh, they were in garbage time. That's fine. We can do that to our own players. That's cool. And then you've got Jermaine Johnson, who was, I think, poised for a breakout last year, but then he got hurt, and it's an Achilles injury, which is tough for a pass rusher because now we're talking about bursts and all. You know what I mean? Like that part. He's what? Is he proceeding? I think ahead of schedule in his recovery, but still, we're not going to know what he looks like.
And you can stop right there, Mark. It's over. We got nobody else.
Well, yeah. Well, and then it's a bunch of young guys, and so that then means, what do you think? Here's the question: is it wise to trade Quinnen for scratch-off epic tickets, or should they build around Quinnen and Will McDonald and hope that Jermaine Johnson comes back and get him a DT, or get these guys some more, beef up front and try to win in the trenches? And then if you do that, and then folks want to say, oh yeah, well, Sauce, can you flip? Okay, you know what? Now we can talk about it because now you've got, your trench, your defensive line is set. Coach, what do you think?
Well, I mean, so I'm gonna put it out there to give you a scenario because, like you said, the Achilles injury. Like, I'm a Green Bay guy, so Rashawn Gary, he got hurt real bad the year before, and we went and picked up Luca Van Ness, and we bulked up a little bit up front. You know what I'm saying? To me personally, I like our young Georgia guys. You know what I'm saying, at the linebacker and at the D tackle, Big Wyatt and Walker. The way they came in and they played, and then the other younger linebacker that we got. Of course, you know what I'm saying, we was already deep. You know, we already had Kenny Clark, which is a proven vet. But I believe we gave time for Rashawn Gray to get back to himself because we picked up other guys to pick in place, and you know we had different options. Like I said, so if you asking me, because I'm a D-line coach, the game is one up front. You can always win on the backside with mediocre guys. But if you getting gashed up front where I can run at you, I can do the screen game, I can pass, I can pick my poison on offense with your D-line, I feel
So,
comfortable. But if I can't pick my poison with your D-line, then it causes me to have to do quick hit stuff because I know your D-line is coming with a lot
coach,
of pressure. So, I mean, just me personally, I would take it with the
coach.
D-line.
Now, in
Yo,
your, but at the end of the day, you guys didn't. Y'all wasn't saying, "Nah, we got to send off Kenny Clark," or were y'all saying, "Hey, let's get Wyatt. Let's help him out, right? Let's get Luke Van Ness.
yeah,
Let's draft the other
right.
linebacker from Georgia for a linebacker and send him on blitzes. Let's get some speed." But y'all weren't sitting here
Yeah,
saying,